up over the last several months that require,
Push it down.
push it down.
Down.
Do this. Is that better? Can you hear me?
Down all the way.
All the way? Is that better? No. Maybe my, that one's turned there. Okay. There are a couple of things that have been going on, and of course, the biggest thing is the task force that we established in 2008, 2009, which directly relates to the new COA that has been turned over by the Supreme Court. That the governor had tried to abolish the COA, and the Supreme Court has turned it over. The second thing, and one of the most important things to us right now, is the Highlands Act. And I've been working with this task force since its inception and working on the COA and the Highlands Act since the beginning, since when it first began. So the Highlands Task Force at this point in time is recommending to this governing body, it's to authorize the professionals in consultation with the Township Highlands Task Force to review the Highlands conformance documents, which are the conformance documents that we sent off to the Highlands last year, and prepare a draft response to the document and provide a recommendation for subsequent consideration by the Township Committee. In a nutshell, what it is that the Highlands finally sent back to us their comments with regards to our plan that took us 24 months to create, and they sent it back and expected us to respond in 45 days. We authorized Mayor Torriello to send out a response saying we cannot respond in 45 days. In the meantime, the task force has gotten together, and the task force has decided a couple of things. One, the wastewater management plan needs to be confirmed by DEP before we move forward with any conformance obligations. Two, now that the COA has been reinstated by the Supreme Court, we must look at the entire COA obligation and what kind of point that we're going to be considering. We've made some strategic changes in the way that we addressed our COA obligations back in 2009 and 2010 when we were completing this Highlands Conformance Grant. But COA still remains something that is a vital part of this community, and we don't know how the impacts are going to be down the road. So because of that, it's better for us to get ahead and plan what the possibilities are in the hopes that we'll be relieved of it, rather than having them tell us what we're going to do. It's better for us to submit a plan and to submit what we can deal with, rather than someone in Trenton telling us what we must do. What we do have is a deadline to spend our COA dollars. We discussed it last night at the planning board. Our COA dollars must be committed by July of 2012. With that in mind, we have several projects that we're going to be looking at getting bids on and moving forward with, but all of these come together all at one time. It's sort of like the perfect storm. The Highlands, the COA, the wastewater management plan that we submitted. Mike, was that 2009, 2011? Again, we updated it?
Well, most recently was 11. 2011.
And then no one has responded other than to say, well, if you're conforming to the Highlands Conformance Plan, then you would get our answer about our wastewater management plan. But Greenwich doesn't work that way. We submitted the plan. We want the DEP to authorize the plan first. Then we'll decide whether or not we want to conform with the Highlands plan. So having said all that, we have a couple of resolutions to move forward on, and they're in our packet. Kim, do you have numbers, please? Tell me which one you're going to give numbers to.
Well, sewer subcommittee, they're underneath on their agenda.
It's 43.
It's in your packet, they're in your packet in tab 9.
It's right here. Numbers are right here.
Oh, do you have the numbers in here? I have them loose.
This?
Yeah, and they're attached, just go to your tab 9, they're all right.
Okay, I can just read them into the record this way, right? Resolution 2012-43 is the resolution authorizing Township professionals to advance the NJDEP review and approval of the 2011 Township Wastewater Management Plan, which is known as the WMP WWNP. There's too many.
Sounds like a
acronyms.
wrestling organization.
Yeah, that's what it's be called. the win.
And authorizing the mayor to coordinate with NJDEP to facilitate those approvals. Do I need a motion on that?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second.
Who's second, Dan or?
Dan.
Amanda?
Comment? Roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Valori?
Yes.
Cordero?
Yes.
Okay, on the housing, from the Housing Task Force, the recommendation is Resolution 2012-44. It's a resolution authorizing township professionals in consultation with the Township Housing Task Force to develop a housing spending plan recommendation for subsequent consideration by the Township Committee. This is the plan moving forward and how we're going to address COA. I need a motion?
I'll make that motion. A second. Comments?
Yeah, I have a question on this. We did have a plan in place as part of the proposal that was presented at a public meeting.
Yes,
regarding the-
and we're going to act on that plan. It's the same exact plan.
It's the same thing.
We just have to move forward with getting things done before July,
Okay.
allocating those dollars.
There has to be, you have to be under well, it's up to debate,
Up
I
to debate.
I believe.
We have to commit
You have to be
some
under
way.
contract by July, or it is sheets back to the state.
All right, so it's the same, we're talking about the same thing?
Exactly, same plan, same plan. We're not creating a new plan, we're creating a mechanism to expend the dollars in some way.
Any other comment? Roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Valori?
Yes.
Cordero?
Yes.
Okay, the Highlands Task Force also recommends 2012-45 as a resolution authorizing the township professionals in consultation with the Township Highlands Task Force to review the Highlands conformance documents, prepare and draft a response document, and provide recommendations for subsequent consideration by the township. Now, one of the things that I noticed that is not on here was not to exceed, Tim. There were some not to exceed. Did you take it off?
No, the resolution's included.
It's in the book.
Oh, in the book, it's just not in
title.
the, okay,
Right.
okay.
Go to
So,
chapter 9.
okay, so I
looked
can't-
myself.
I know, but when you
Yeah.
read it, you really should read into the record what's not to exceed.
Well, then you have to go back to all these. 'cause
Well, then you can do all of them. I mean,
Steve prepared the
Yeah, I know, he
resolutions,
gave
and
me
then
those.
he gave the
actually,
language here. for
Actually,
this,
Brett
but-
prepared
actually, I
those.
prepared the resolutions,
Yeah.
and in paragraph 2 of each of these resolutions, it
You do it
says,
different than Peter. Peter used to put it right in the,
well, paragraph 2 states exactly what they're not supposed to exceed, and
There they are.
and the funds where they're, for example, resolution 43 was not to exceed $7,500, and that's coming from the sewer utility fund.
right, that's from the sewer utility fund, so it's
Res-
not coming out of the general
Right.
budget.
Resolution 44 was not to exceed $12,500, and that's coming out of the housing trust fund.
That's right.
And the resolution that you're now talking about, 45, is not to exceed $7,500, and that's coming out of the Highlands Conformance Grant.
Which is the one that I was asking you about amending earlier. This is what it was, this was what it was supposed to go towards. That $2,000 in January 19, it was supposed to be in conjunction with this entire Highlands Task Force review.
Yeah, I wanted to amend my minutes.
Going back to the minutes,
Yes,
yes.
going back to the minutes, I'm sorry.
Okay, very
Yeah,
good.
so
So
this replaces that.
that will replace that,
Yes,
yes.
okay. So I need a motion for the Highlands Task Force. Not to exceed $7,500.
I'll make the motion. A second. Comment? Roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Valori?
Yes.
Cordero?
Yes.
I just have one more thing that's not on the agenda, which is the Morris Canal.
Why don't you hold it to the
Okay,
end?
all right.
I'm going to try and stick to exactly as the agenda is, and then we can
Okay.
do on item 20, old business and new business.
Okay.
Thanks. Tom?
So, a couple of items. Under, start off with the rec. There's a couple of items under recreation. I got most of the team here, so we'll start off with that. Under recreation, we're going to review an additional baseball travel program along with its bylaws to be added to the recreation program. This is something that's covering current travel teams that we currently sponsor technically under the rec program. We're bringing them in under our insurance, correct me if I'm wrong. Angie and the team had noticed some gaps, and we're proactive by going out and going to our insurance company and going to these coaches from these teams to make sure that we're covered from a liability standpoint, as well as both insurance-wise and legal-wise. So they worked a lot of hours going back and forth doing this addendum to the rec, and I think they came up with a good plan. Are we at the final copy, Angie? I mean,
I believe the insurance fella contacted Mark and.
I know Brent, you were looking at some of the.
I'm fine with all, I mean, they incorporated my language, and I don't have any issue with this, other than the last email that I saw, there was an outstanding issue by Wells Fargo Insurance
Right.
Services, which is your risk management consultant, regarding the insurance paragraph.
Right, and I think that was just to make it less wordy, to pare down the words and to eliminate one.
Well, I don't know what his response to that's going to be, so if you're going to take any action on that, I would just make it subject to
Yeah,
that.
I'd like to do that because we have to be expedient this evening because of the insurance,
Insurance requirement of the league.
yeah, the league, they need the
Certificate?
certificates in order to get these kids going and to do so. So I've been active at those meetings, and I'm 100% with adding those leagues under Andy's direction, and so I'd like to make that motion to adopt that pending the outcome of.
Right, pending approval by your risk
Are we
manager.
okay with that, right? Are we okay with that? Subject to
Yes.
the change of that item?
Right.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
I thought we had to go to make a motion in a second.
I'll do a motion in a second, you have to, is it discussion on this?
Yeah, we will.
So we just need a second, and then, with a second,
I'll second it.
okay. Dan, go ahead.
Is this this travel team, are these the teams that we had in town before, Stephen Mitchell and the other guys used to run? It is?
Yes, what I wanted to do, Dan, was make sure that the township was covered, so that when we issue a certificate of insurance and something happens, that we have things in place, policies in place, so that those teams know what their responsibilities are towards us, the rec, so that we can sponsor them. So we got with Wells Fargo, they requested that we get a policy in place. We basically took one of our rec policies, and Jimmy and Giola modified it, and then we sent it back to the Wells Fargo to take a look at it, make sure it set well with them for what they thought would minimize any impact to the township.
And we had a conference call with Wells Fargo, and we really hammered it out for about an hour one morning, and subsequent to that, we came up with about 3 or 4 copies back and forth that we hammered out, passed by Brent, and it seems to be okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with it, subject to
Right.
approval by Wells Fargo.
Right.
And my other question was, when I was reading your bylaws, and correct me if I'm wrong, these teams used to operate with kids from out of town, like from Lopac, Bohat, playing on the team with them. Are you
Right.
now, like, just leaving it only Greenwich, and those kids are not allowed to play for them?
No, it's still a mixture of Greenwich and other townships.
It's like 90-10,
Right.
something like that,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I only asked the question because I know sometimes some of those teams, they wouldn't have enough kids of that caliber just in Greenwich alone.
Right.
So they would need kids from outside of town in order to have their teams.
Right, and our insurance is coverage of number of participants, not specifically names
Right.
and residents.
Okay. Thanks.
You've had a motion, second, you're in discussion right
Any
now.
other comment? Roll call.
Perez,
Yes.
Siegel,
Yes.
Miliani,
Yes,
Clark,
Yes.
Torello.
Yes.
And now I have-
All right.
No, I got another one. I think we were gonna discuss with Lorraine, the petty cash amount. Lorraine, when we had our discussion, we were gonna discuss the petty cash amount for recreation, the proposal of what we thought was gonna be, there's what recreation is asking in order to be a little more autonomous with getting, things fairly quickly, is a certain cash amount that's called petty cash. Right now, some people are monitoring petty cash. It's not really, it's a change account is what you have right now, about $200, which offers change to go bring to the rec dances and get change. It's not a petty cash for where people can go get reimbursed for quick, expedient purchases that are low monetary value. What rec is asking the township is to offer an amount of petty cash for them to hold of their funds that they can have access to when they need it, that does not require prior approval to use. Am I correct in that, Justin? So, is there anything you want to add to that request, or did I state it okay?
Is this in addition to the coaches, the fees that we have already authorized for the reins we give to the?
Yes, that's a separate line item under the budget to forward to their monies. This is just a small petty cash box.
What's your recommendation on the amount?
$1,000.
Petty cash?
I think that's what we discussed. Was that the?
Yeah.
Much. I know you're
Are you
not.
comfortable with that?
Petty caches have to be set up
I think what did we
in
discuss
a
about
legal path. I'm unsure as to whether they have petty cash or a change fund now. I thought that Henry mentioned that they have a petty cash of $100. Does that sound familiar?
It's 200 and it's a cash, but you said it's set up wrong, improperly. Set up-
They're using it more as a change fund and not as petty cash.
Right. So is there something that the township is comfortable with, an amount?
I'm looking to our CFO.
I'm looking to you as well, being in the situation that we're in, and I told him that I would make the request based on our comfortability with our financial situation at this point. But I do feel the need that there needs to be some level of autonomy for small purchase and replenishment for certain funds that don't have to be approved by the
I
board.
think $200 is low for the amount of
For what you've seen them
dimensions that they have
purchasing.
in
Right.
place now.
Mm.
I think $1,000 is a lot of money in petty cash to have around, considering it can be reimbursed every single
Right.
month if it's turned in for reimbursement say the Thursday before the council meeting, or committee meeting, it'd be replenished in a week. So I think 1,000 is a lot, 200 is very little for the amount of
So
things that they
what's your
want.
suggestion?
500?
Meet in the middle and
That'd be great.
500?
500?
Do you want a resolution that would set forth guidelines?
You have to apply to the state for.
Yes.
Right, I'm just trying to, we're putting it out there for
We have to
approval
apply
to
to the
allow.
state of New Jersey for
Yes.
establishing a petty cash?
Yeah, since there is a petty cash established, I'm pretty sure that you still have to apply to them. I'm not sure by what legal means to increase that amount.
Increase, or is it in addition to? You said the other one
Yeah.
was a change.
But they were
This is
using it
separate.
as a change fund.
They're using it as a change right now,
So are we saying $500
in addition to the 200 change
in
fund.
total?
In total.
Right.
You're saying in total,
But
not,
they don't, if they have a change fund, it's their own monies that they're using as a change fund. They're legally set up for a petty cash fund. They're just using it as a change fund.
all right.
And they couldn't use it for coaches' fees, because we
No, they already
certainly have
set,
that
it's all
whole
separate
separate
line item,
thing.
right. It's
For
just-
coaches' fees, yeah.
Justin, do you
So we
want
would
to
just
add to what you'd be
increase it.
actually using the petty cash for, if you want to give an example of what you'd be? Does he have to come forward?
Yeah.
I don't know, do you have, I'm not privy to.
Supplies for the Easter egg hunt.
Okay, so miscellaneous supplies for certain events at last minute.
So if the CFO is comfortable with $500, what do we need to do? We need to have a,
Well, you need to set something up with the state, right?
Yeah, if council would agree to make a motion for Kim and I to get together and get
And to make a
the
proposal.
paperwork side of it, taken care of with the state at whatever amount.
a motion to authorize you to work with the state to set this up? You and Kim.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. I'll second it. Any comment? Roll call.
Perez,
Yes.
Siegel.
Yes.
Miliani.
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Torriello.
Yes,
And it's $500.
right.
Okay. Okay, going to the fire department, there's an application for a blue light permit for Michael Mexi.
How's it related?
Yeah.
Well, that'll be the youngest
The
son.
youngest
The
of
youngest
the
son,
team.
oh my goodness.
So,
It's his initial.
it's his initial move.
Yes.
Is his,
Oh my goodness, I'll make that
initial as a
motion.
volunteer.
That's his very first
Yes,
one.
it's
I'll second it.
Okay, Perez,
Yes.
Siegel. Yes. Miliani.
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Coriello.
Yes.
And then under emergency squad, there's a blue light permit for Richard Hajdu. Adu, sorry. I'm
And
not
that is a
familiar.
renewal.
That's a
Already has
renewal,
one.
right? He has one already. So,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. Comment, roll call.
Perez,
Yes.
Siegel. Miliani.
Yes.
Lori.
yes.
Coriello.
Yes. Okay,
So that's mine.
that ends you. Dan?
Let's see. We did get some bids on the repair to Municipal Park, the conduit, and that's go out by the pavilion. And your folder, one is for $26.50. I think that's what we're gonna go with, right, Kim? It seems to be the one that's gonna
Well, the
cover
other one is
everything. And the other one's
3,800,
$3,800. But, the one thing I'd like to do first, before we do agree to anything, is check, because on the one from the Mets, doesn't really describe what they're gonna do, as far as, whereas the one from Renaissance is pretty much in detail.
Just like Chief Mexi, Joe Mexi, he met with both of them out there, went through everything that is damaged and what needs to be replaced and everything. So, I mean, the quotes that are for exactly, only one is detailed more on their proposal.
Well, I prefer to have
Okay.
Mets put it detail.
Write it out more, okay,
Yes.
subject to, you know,
Yeah.
you want to
Yes.
award it subject to.
Subject to the description, making sure that all
I got a quick question. What, is this the new pavilion that's over by Stecker?
No,
Now,
that is the
This
old
is in the
pavilion, right?
It's the
municipal
old one in the back, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's broken conduit and.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
This is
right.
ready to
So-
go.
those wires, it's
Okay.
a mess.
Now, you're right though, Dan, in terms of the lack
Right.
lack of detail, we should probably ask them to provide more detail, like the one that's $1,000 more.
Yeah. So, all right, so once we get that, then we can go over it. The other one was the repairs to the roof. You had told me, Ken, that there was a second,
The second, well, okay, we have Deegan Brothers, and then there was Coons Brothers. Coons Brothers would not come back and give us another, so we did solicit 2 quotes, but they submitted a quote, they didn't want to give us a quote for a repair. They gave us a one-off replacement for $30,000. We're not replacing the roof on the municipal building, we just need to repair and patch what is. So they would only do to repair it, or to
Oh, is
replace
that
it.
the
Right.
17?
So,
no, not the
excuse me?
first bid,
The second one.
yes.
Yeah, so we did go out and solicit, and we had 2 quotes, but then the other one here, they did give us the one for the repair, and it was for,
$24.50.
yeah, $24.50, just to repair it and, retar it. And
It's-
that's
it-
really
it-
what we were looking for.
Yeah, essentially, it's really just a quick fix, is what it is.
You like those?
So that's for
Sometimes
24.
Sometimes you gotta bite the
Yeah,
bullet,
yeah.
I know.
So anyway, so that's the deal with that, as far as the roof goes, okay?
You need a motion there?
Yes.
Okay, motion to approve Mets.
Okay,
No.
No, Deegan.
Vegan.
Now, well,
No,
that's the
Mets
electrical
first.
contractor.
But
With the description.
Subject.
you wanna do subject to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
subject
Yes.
to, because this
Okay.
needs to get done, the kids are back there, and there's like a
Okay.
whole, yeah.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. Comment, roll call.
Perez,
Yes.
Siegel. Yes. Miliani.
Yes?
Lori.
Yes.
Coriello.
Yes.
Now the room.
And now, a motion for the, to approve the repairs to the roof, except Deegan Brothers.
I'll make that motion in the amount of $24.50.
Yes.
I'll second it. Comment, roll call.
Perez,
Yes.
Siegel. Miliani.
Yes?
Lori.
Yes.
Coriello.
Yes.
Okay, we finally have someone, a coordinator to take care of things for us with recycling. We're gonna use, if the committee approves it, we're gonna use P-Bird, Phillipsburg. They've agreed, Patricia Huckster has agreed to be our coordinator for $100 a year. What we need to do though is send over all the paperwork to her. We can do that electronically when we have all the paperwork in place, and then they'll take it from there.
And what do we call this We called her title something.
For her,
Yeah,
she is a certified recycling coordinator, but she is going to,
she's a certified,
signer for my tonnage grant.
yeah.
She'll be the one that, for those that don't know, we needed someone to be in place to authorize us to send out our recycling information. We didn't have that qualified person here in town, so we had to go out of town to find someone who could sort of be our umbrella. And P-Berg agreed to do this for us.
And her role would be what?
She's
She's
signing
signing?
off the
All
report,
she's
right?
doing
Yeah,
is
she would
taking
sign
She's
off.
not
her
compiling the
certification.
tonnage, right?
No,
That's
no.
still
No,
Kim.
we're doing that.
No, that's Kim.
Got it.
Kim. Okay.
So we're purchasing this, in essence, the signature for $100 a year.
Yes, yes.
I have a question. This $100 a year goes to her, right, not to Peter?
It goes to Patty Huxton, yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
Because we're using her license
Uh-huh.
to sign off on a doc, because I would be able to just do it and submit it to the state, but because we need to have somebody who is certified and took the classes.
Yes. Okay. I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Comment? Roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel?
Yes. Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Toriello?
Yes.
My next item, I don't know, Mike, where we got with this, as far as the speed bumps. Myself and the chief went up to Milton Township, and I stood out on the roadway, and the chief rode over these raised white speed bumps. We did at different speed limits. We did it at 25, 30, 35, and 40 miles an hour. I stood a certain distance away. There are two homes down on South Main Street where I stood in the center where these two homes are to see what the sound would be like for the people who lived in that area. It really was very minimal. It was very minimal at each different speed. There were homes on the street that were right in front of these speed bumps. The chief and I went to the home. We knocked on the door. We spoke to the residents that lived there, and we asked them how they felt about the speed bumps out in the street in front of their homes. And they had no complaints. They were happy for it. They said it was effective. It did slow down the traffic coming through there. They said before they were in place, people were just speeding up and down the block. And they said the noise level was very minimal for them also. So, and these were older citizens, so, and you know that they don't hold back. They'll let you know. They don't like something, they'll tell you. So based on that, I contacted Mike to see if he could find out for us what the cost would be. There's a couple places in town that we talked about that possibly could utilize these speed bumps.
Want me to take it?
Yeah.
From here? Okay. Well, we've been talking about this, and I've spoken with the county before, and then, of course, I spoke with Dan, actually, before he went out to do his, I'll call it a site inspection, and then after he came back. I've most recently been in contact with the county as of within the last week, most recently this morning. And got good news to report, I would say. The county has agreed that they will actually install them for us, should we be, obviously agreeable that we want them installed. Bart Johnson, who is now the assistant county engineer, he took Jim Bernasky's job, Jim was retired, is the traffic fellow who I've been talking to. He dropped off apparently at the office today, I didn't see him, a detail and actually a little map of South Main Street where he thinks they should go. We don't have to do anything, they're doing it. So, obviously, they're only gonna install them on county roads. I know we've spoken of some other roads. Dan and I have spoken about potential installation of these on other roads. Clearly, the county will not be paying for that installation on municipal roads. I talked to Bart about the cost. He said it's about $1,000 per installation. The only caveat, if you will, to the county's agreement to even allow us to install them on South Main Street doesn't matter who's paying for them, is that they brought up the noise issue again, and they said that we will need to sign a letter. I'll call it an indemnification letter, it's not really, they didn't use that word, and that's probably not the correct term, for
That's-
they will
that
not
sounds
take the
silly.
responsibility for any complaints from residents near these rumble, I'll call them rumble strips, that's probably a better term. Near these rumble strips, post-installation, that's all on us. But if we do that, they will pay, they will pay to
for
have.
Main Street.
Yep. So, that's the long and short of it.
So far, to test it, I think we should look at Main Street. I think we
North and
test.
south, right?
Well, this is, I think, personally, what I think we should do is do the ones on South Main first. Dan's also suggested Washington Street, which I think there's a lot of merit to put them on Washington Street as well.
That's Township.
That's Township Road, but while the contractor's out installing them on South Main, on the county's nickel, he just bounces over to Washington and he installs them on our nickel. Now, of course, we don't have quotes. I don't know if we have agreement amongst the committee. So, it really, those are the facts.
I think it's, my personal opinion is installing them on Main Street as a test. And then from there, we grow the,
When I hear, I know they're not calling it an indemnification agreement, but I can see where this is going. I'm wondering if it would be helpful, it's not like we'd have to do is there a way of providing a notice to those in the
Those
immediate
residents?
area and having everybody sign off on
So,
it first?
a release.
or we could take a bus up to Knowlton and have them listen to
No,
it.
but I mean, in other words,
Have them go and verify, then sign off.
if we're gonna do it,
Right.
okay, why not get direct input from those who are gonna be affected by
Sure.
this? So that we just don't take this
Make a
action and
decision
people
for 'em.
say, what's this? Why weren't we given an opportunity to weigh in on it? And to the extent that everybody wants it, great, then we do it. If everybody doesn't want it, or most people don't want it, then we as a committee should be asking ourselves, well, why are we doing it? You know what I'm saying? So,
I think it's a good idea.
If you authorize, I can have him draft the letter, and then I can get the breakdown from the assessor of the thing, and you can show me on the map where they're going, and then I can notify.
In a couple homes.
right,
Yeah,
exactly, that's what I said.
This is not like a
Exactly.
200-foot property line.
Right.
No, but I
This is a
can,
few.
well, just
Yeah.
South Main Street.
Question, is it something that could be tested and then removed? Or is it permanent once it goes down?
Oh, absolutely.
You can lay it down and say, we're gonna try this for 60 days and let all the residents come out and hear, your car go blasting through it and see what's going on.
Okay, wait, one at a time, one at a time.
That's
One at a time.
dropped off today at my office.
I think if we do that, I am confident they would be appreciative
Of being
of
notified.
being notified and having an opportunity to weigh in on it.
So Frank can draft the letter, I'll send it out. and,
All right, in front of
you can
Dan's
sign
house.
it or whatever.
I'll make that motion to authorize the attorney to prepare that letter.
For what it's worth, Mr. Perez has never seen that sketch. Because I just got it literally at 6 o'clock tonight.
Is it in front of you?
No, I don't know.
Well, it's not really, it's like in front of two houses.
It's really small, there's two there. No, it's,
Okay,
I
so
don't think it is.
motion to authorize Brent to send a letter to,
Would I set that up for the mayor's signature?
Yes.
Yes.
okay, yeah, I
Frank can
think,
draft the letter. for
no
the-
offense, but
Yeah, no,
from
no, I don't think they
from
want
the
it from me.
attorney, they might be afraid to
I
open it.
agree.
Yeah, but I won't do it. Good point. Is there a second on the motion?
I'll second.
Comment?
I'm sorry. Who made the motion?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Elaine seconded. Comment? Roll call?
Perez,
Yes.
Siegel, Miliani,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Ferrella.
Yes. Okay.
You want that back, Mike?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
it is.
do, I do. Hey, want me to make you a copy of that before I go?
Yes.
Mayor, I'll
If
make you a
3
copy.
people don't like them and 10 people like them, then you're gonna be, you've got a problem.
Final item.
All right, the last item on my agenda, which I did not put on this agenda,
Right.
it was placed on my agenda by the mayor, which I don't understand if that's something that can be done, someone else to place an agenda on someone else's agenda. I haven't been a part of that before, and I don't know if that's allowed. I think the proper thing should have been done was to have spoken to me first and asked me about this. Now, the next thing I'm gonna make my comment on this is that I'm not gonna tell you what I was talking about, because it's none of your business. I went out to lunch with Doug Steinhardt as a friend, and we had lunch together, and that was it. We didn't discuss anything that you may think that we discussed, which I have no clue what it is, but I'm gonna say it again. I have the right, as everyone else does here, to go out to have lunch with whoever they want to go out with. So, the last time I looked, this was Stewartsville, not Torrielloville. And my thing to this is that I really believe that you had a lot of nerve to put something like this on my agenda. To even think that I would answer this is ludicrous. And you should, and I did make an attempt to talk to you about it. You did call me back, and I then did call you back again. But that's it. I have nothing to say about this thing on my agenda, and that's where I stand.
Okay, well, just, are you finished?
Yes.
Okay. The reason that I placed it on your agenda item and not mine is because it would be appropriate for you to make the comment. I wasn't the one who had the meeting with the mayor, and to the extent that you're friends with Mayor Steinhardt and it was a personal meeting, that's obviously your right. However, you are also an elected official, and I would state to you for the record that while we are presently involved in ongoing litigation with LOPAT, for you to meet in private without notifying the township committee, I think is irresponsible. It shows poor judgment. And I would say this to you, Dan, you are a private citizen, you're also an elected official, and you represent this body. And perceptions, unfortunately, are reality. And there have been a lot of news articles in the Express Times about Mayor Steinhardt's political reaches and influences in other municipalities and other, and it's been notoriously covered. Okay, so when residents see a township committee work together and to take action collectively and decisively and embark upon litigation, and while there is press coverage about the layers of conflict that Mayor Steinhardt acknowledges on his own, okay, to recuse himself from that process, and then for you to meet secretively without notifying the township committee first while we're involved in ongoing litigation, I'm sorry. You're right. Under the law, you have the right to meet with him personally. I personally think it's poor judgment. I personally think it creates an opportunity for speculation as to whether or not the township committee is publicly fighting this and there's secret deals going on the side. And I can tell you this, I campaigned hard on transparency, okay? And I think meetings like this should be known to all of the residents of Greenwich Township, and to the extent that everyone in Greenwich Township knows about it, I'm satisfied. They know, they can make now the statement that you're a personal friend of Mayor Steinhardt and you met him in a personal capacity. That's fine. We don't have to discuss it anymore. I accept your statement and we can move forward.
Well, no. The way you make it sounds like I have, I don't know what I have, you know. This luncheon that I had with Mr. Steinhardt was set up a week or two ago, before these meetings were set up about the asphalt. The other thing was that it wasn't a secret. I came in, I spoke to someone here, I had said to him, I just had lunch with Doug. That was it. I was asked, what was I doing? Where was I going? I said, I just had lunch with Doug. Does that sound like I'm trying to keep a secret? You know, if I'm telling somebody that? And since when, whatever, and I understand what you're saying about appearances, but since when do any of us have to come back and say, I'm going to go out and have lunch with somebody, or I'm going to go out and have dinner with somebody? Since when? I have, in the time that I've been on this committee, and it's a short time, it's only a year, I've never had anyone on the committee come back to us and say, is it okay if I go and have lunch with this person? And And I do understand what you're saying, but it was no big secret. It was in a public forum, it was in a public place. I threw it out there that I just had lunch with Doug Steinhardt. So, it's not, there was no collusion, there's nothing, the way, sitting here listening to you, the way you're saying it, I felt guilty all of a sudden. And there's no reason for that. And again, I'm gonna say, it's my business, and I'll stand by that, and people may not like that I sat there and I had lunch with someone, but you know what? You're not gonna like who other people have lunch with sometimes. And again, I'll say to you all, my time with him had nothing to do with Greenwich Township, had nothing to do with Lopat Township. It had to do with me sitting with someone, or just hanging out, having a drink, having some lunch, and that was it. That's the end of it.
Well,
And,
I'd just like to make one comment. I mean, I didn't hear Elaine letting the township residents know when she was flying to Las Vegas to attend Officer Katsiopoulos' wedding when he had litigation against the township. I didn't hear anything said about that. So I would just like to go on record in saying that.
Any other comments on the agenda item?
Well, I just have one more question with this here. As far as placing agendas on someone else's agenda, is that something that someone could do? Because we're all equal here. We don't have a strong man, none of us are stronger than the other. We all are equal in this committee. And especially when it's not, you're not telling the other person that you want to place something on their agenda.
Any other comments?
Well, I'm asking Trini the question.
Well, the form of government is township committee, so it's a weak mayor form of government. The mayor controls the agenda, and each of you also contribute to the agenda, so I don't know what else to say other than that.
See, this kind of goes back to the issue that I had at the beginning of the year. I don't mean to raise it again, but the fact that my agenda item was taken off, right? So we have agenda items being taken off.
Unless I misremember, I think that was an inadvertent.
No, Kim told me specifically that the mayor took my agenda item off.
Okay.
What agenda item is it?
That was I don't even remember what it was now. What was it, Kim?
I think it was.
The responsibility,
But I
yes.
think at the actual meeting, though, it was.
Well, it was put back on, but it was
Yeah.
after it already caused a big
Okay.
issue.
Any other comments?
Let me just say to the public too, I may sound arrogant in what I'm saying here, but you have to understand that I take this very seriously. That someone would question my integrity, would question me, who's given many years to this township. And I took a lot of offense to this. And I strongly feel that this is private. This is my private life. Has nothing to do with the committee. And that's it, you may not like what I have to say, but that's where it's at.
For the record, I didn't question your integrity, I questioned your judgment.
Well, you still questioned it. And all you had to do was talk to each other.
It's not about doing things in secret.
It's
It's
not- there
required
was
a
nothing
public
to-
discussion.
I'm
The
sorry.
residents have a right to know.
There
We
was
are
no-
fully transparent. We're in ongoing litigation, and you had lunch with someone who we are in active litigation with, regardless of when the lunch was scheduled. In my opinion, it demonstrates poor judgment on your part.
Well, again, it wasn't done in secret, because if it was in secret, I never would have said anything about it. It came from me that I had just had lunch with him.
Understand? Anything else? Okay, Michael?
Oh, no, I'm on
No.
here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tammy.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
already have a
I'm
couple
sorry.
items. One is, actually, it wasn't on here, I'm just gonna add on. Kim, I saw an email from you regarding the streetlights, because I know we had an HOA meeting this week for the Greenwich Chase board, and the issue came up again around many of the streetlights, which we believe, as you were talking about the electrical at the pavilion being dangerous, there's some lights that are down that could pose a danger, and they've been down since the first two, the hurricanes, I think August, September. So I know a lot of residents are not happy about the fact that they're still, so I know you sent the email, you said John
We did the inventory.
did the inventory, but it just seems like we need to put a little bit more, I don't know how we get the urgency, I don't know if it's JCP&L.
That's the email. We've all seen it. The way this was left, this is actually in my report, that Kim and I kind of went back and forth after she sent this to me and to all of you. And I'm following up with JCP now, correct? That's the way I thought.
I could do it, you could do it.
Well,
I
I
didn't know,
haven't-
like, if you have a special contact person.
Well, I have Lynn Geiger. Do you know Lynn?
No.
She tends to be very helpful
Okay.
in the past. She's very nice, very helpful.
Can she also get me a cutting card for Dumont Road? Because I'm doing a cutting card. and
I
then she can
could
get
certainly
this.
ask.
Okay.
I would think.
All right,
That's who I was gonna call.
yeah,
But
okay.
I
If you-
haven't done that yet. 'Cause
Okay.
again, I just got this one done again Tuesday.
So
Uh,
if you speak with her, if you could ask her if she could kind of get a sense of
Expedite?
urgent, expedite it,
Absolutely.
because I know residents in Greenwich Chase are getting upset by this.
Okay, sure. I mean, I
Okay.
was planning, I was gonna mention in my report that I was
Okay.
gonna be contacting JCPL and following up on these lights.
Okay. And on a lighter note, just the Memorial Day Parade, I've never worked the Memorial Day Parade before, and who would I work with, Kim, you or?
Beth Ann Hamlin, yes. I'll give her, she'll be in contact.
Okay. I mean, it may seem like a long way off, but I don't really want to wait until it's not. So you'll have her call me on my cell, or?
Yeah, I'll have Beth Ann get in touch with you, and we generally give it, we contribute towards this. What did we say, it was 100 or 150, something like that.
Was
So
it more
we'll,
than that last year, Kim?
excuse me?
Was it 500 last year? No?
So,
Okay.
I don't think so. We'll go back and check, but we'll have it on the bill list for next month.
I'm not gonna have to sell cupcakes to sponsor this, am I? Big cupcakes.
Yeah, once I see
Sell
the
them.
folks, I'll talk with them.
Yeah, well, I'll let Beth Ann know, and then she'll contact you regarding the meetings. They have meetings.
All right.
And then,
So I'm
You did it
not,
last year?
yeah.
yeah, you did it?
Yeah.
Dan, you did it last year?
Yeah.
Oh, good, okay.
Well, one thing to Angie, will we use then the microphone again this year?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
That's all I
There you
have.
go, thanks.
Mike?
Based upon the fact we've already talked about a few of the items that I would have talked about, this might be the shortest engineer's report we've had in a long time.
You're on camera, you know.
Of course I am. I need to really watch this one.
Two of them.
To see how I look.
We haven't captured you like
Beautiful,
smacking a
baby,
fly
Yeah,
again
there's no
recently.
flies, there's another couple months to be some flies. And this is just a reminder to you folks, especially the mayor and Committeeman Colari. Item number 7 in my report, which is the SRTS grant, that still is an open project. And that is going to require an expenditure of some additional monies, and when I say some of it, 10,000, 12,000, for the completion of some work that is still outstanding, but we need to expend that money in order to secure the grant, which we have not secured the reimbursement on the grant. This project has been around for a long time, so we're waiting for, well, I shouldn't say the good weather, it's been more than good weather recently, right? But this project's been around, actually, I said item number 7.
In total, Mike?
Excuse me, my report item number 4. Excuse me.
In total is $12,000 for the two?
Do not quote me. I
Okay.
threw out an order of magnitude number. I have absolutely no idea because we are waiting for quotes to come in.
Okay.
So we were trying to get the original contractor to come back, which would then be just a change order on the contract, but we haven't been successful.
Okay.
Okay, that's just a reminder because it's still hanging out there. It's like one of my little black clouds, to be
Well,
honest.
we have to, put that in the
Well, we
budget.
have to get it closed out because we're owed $150,000.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, most of these are just updates, no reason to waste much time, we talked about Dumont Road. Nothing on the grants yet. Elaine, you're gonna talk about the Morris Canal? Okay.
You're
South
right.
Main Street and rumble strips we talked about. Last item in my report, again, is the gas pipeline project, still just, again, an update. Still moving forward, they expect, construction to be in the summertime. And Kim, the fella is still, needs to see the letter that we sent to Green Acres on behalf, remember the vote?
No, I gave you that the
No.
last meeting.
I think I left early or whatever, so you didn't.
Okay.
If you could make a note, email me a copy, that's fine.
On the Green Acres?
Yeah, it's the letter from the township to Green Acres,
Yep.
supporting the project, okay. Yeah, supporting the traversing the Green Acres property, and that's it. No
Thanks,
action
Mike.
items tonight.
Brent?
I have a resolution here, but I would like to discuss the agreement in closed session before we consider the resolution,
Okay,
because it also impacts,
understood.
okay.
Okay, so now at this point in time, I'd like to call for a motion to open the meeting up for public comment. You want to do that first?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Table that motion.
Okay, I'm just going to talk briefly about the Morris Canal project. It has come to our attention in July, I believe 17th of 2011, the county notified the governing body that there were going to be meetings about, at the county level, about planning for the 25-year project, the 25-year action plan of the Morris Canal. This really was not discussed at the governing body, and therefore no one went to the meetings. In December, I had gotten an email from the planner for the Warren County freeholders, and he asked me to come to one of the meetings in December. So I quick ran up there, and to me, there was a lot going on for Greenwich about the Morris Canal without much input from Greenwich Township. So over the past couple of weeks, I've been working with this planner, Dave Deck, and I've asked him to come and work with our environmental commission, our historical commission, and any local residents that want to be involved in this. They're coming down here on the 20th of March. It's a Tuesday evening at 7:30 to work with the environmental and historical and any of the residents who want to come. On the 21st of March, they're having a meeting, which he will give to the people who come here, that's going to be an all-encompassing plan county-wide, so that everyone can understand it. But it's important for those who truly live on the canal to come to this meeting. So I would like them to know that, and I'm going to get out some literature, hopefully, to those residents that live on the canal. So, having said that, now,
Okay.
yes.
If I may, on that point,
Uh-huh.
I just happened to speak with Dave Deck today. I followed up as I promised I would in advance of next week's meeting. He's probably going to be reaching out to you just to talk about what you're expecting of him on next Tuesday.
Dog and pony show,
Exactly.
and facts.
He's bringing some other people along with him, some Morris Canal people and so forth. So
What bothers
just
me
be
about
advised
this,
that
yes.
he might be reaching
But
out.
what bothers me about this is that we've taken action as a governing body about topsoil. I want to know where the topsoil is coming from. From digging up the Morris Canal?
Yes.
Okay, we need to talk about that.
Well, the meeting is going to consist of primarily two Morris Canal topics, but very different. There's the Morris Canal Greenway Plan, and there's the Morris Canal Restoration Project. The Morris Canal Restoration Project is a project that will be constructed this year, which will generate said topsoil. The Morris Canal Greenway Plan is
the
like a master plan for the Morris Canal. It's
It's
a
like a-
planning
yeah.
document
A
that they are in the
walking
process of developing. It's not even done yet.
Right.
So, the Greenway Plan is the entire canal through the county, which of course includes, obviously, the section through Greenwich, which is a pretty substantial section. The restoration project is very specific relative to just a fairly short section of the canal in Greenwich, are near the 519 area. So, but that will all be just explained at the meeting.
As long as it doesn't impact
I told
existing
him.
residents.
I
I'm
told
not,
him.
I'm a little perturbed that they would move forward without much input and, you know, to get a last minute phone call for me to go to a December meeting, that kind of shook me a little bit. And, you know, I've been trying to get in touch with them and finally do get all the information, have the environmental commission, because the historical and the environmental are the ones that would really be the most, you know, cognizant of what's going on. And then, of course, we have a couple of planning board members, which would be Joe and me and Tom, there to make sure that the planning is all within what we look, you know, our guide of the master plan. And then we don't know how it's going to impact some of our residents. That bothers me a little bit. They had some years ago had some challenges, and we want to make sure that that's recognized by them without somebody taking action.
I expressed that to Dave today, but not in the level of detail that you can, because you
Right.
received the complaints.
Right.
I kind of, so I didn't want him to think that he's coming into a buzzsaw either. So I
No,
said, please call Lane before Tuesday night and talk it through as far as what questions you might be asked. A, it will have him prepared, and B, and then it'll be
He needs to-
nice of us, if you will, to kind of extend an olive branch up front. So,
Exactly.
So-
And I think coming here is the best way to do it, rather than asking residents to go up to the
exactly.
tech school.
No,
But
he was fine.
if more residents want to go, there's another meeting on the 21st.
Yeah, no, he was totally fine with
Okay.
coming.
I got one thing to get to Ken on my agenda. It's Chief Mike. The Littles, down by the curb, next to
Where the new
that.
rumble structure going?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
She stopped me the other day. She said that they brought this problem to the township before, with mudslides, with that property that's right next to them where the homes at Alamushi
The
Window.
mansion's property, right?
Yes, that when they get really heavy rains and everything else, they're out there battling mudslides, like actually shoveling the mud away. And also, there was a break, and I don't know exactly where it is, it's either before or after the bridge, there's a break in the concrete, that she says that it's actually a slab of the concrete that you can actually pick up and pull out, and you have to push it back in.
She's not talking about that.
Concrete sidewalk?
Yeah, on the sidewalk.
Oh,
She says she brought this to the township before,
The mudslides, yeah,
you know?
yeah, that she
so-
has, yeah.
Yeah,
But we
not
didn't know
the-
what was
the
going
house
on
with
with
the
the
spray
Venus
paint on the
property
tree.
then.
Yeah,
That's
sorry?
the house with the spray paint on the tree on the smiley face. on the-
Yes, yes, the house that's recessed
Yeah.
on the curb.
it's actually in that,
Yeah, that
Fuck.
concrete's not.
Yeah, so she wanted to know what we can do as a township to,
Do we need to authorize Michael to, or can he just?
well,
He knows that property inside and out.
on the next door property, sure, I sure do. Do we know who farms that, by any chance? The Dominguez property?
I can find out. I don't know.
I mean, is it
Probably one of the same.
Overly? I mean, he's right. Well, that's the safe bet, yes. That would be the odds-on favorite.
Yeah.
It's
Well-
probably Sam. I can call Sam.
Yeah, I mean, that's a function of how it's being tilled
I should-
and cultivated. Is they're having problems, so that would be, you go to the farmer.
Dawn Marie has verified
Oh.
it's Santini.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right, don't, where's she here still? Oh, sorry.
Sam?
Bob
Sam
or Sam?
Sam? Sam.
Oh, well, I'll call Sam. I know him very well. so.
Thanks. Okay.
so, what do you want me to tell them?
Tell her that the township engineer, Mr. Finelli, will be contacting the farmer who is working that property and will look at where these problems are, because the farmer's got to do something different. I mean, I would not recommend calling it Dominguez's.
Oh, no, no.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
no.
So that's the only course of potential action without us getting involved ourselves, the township. The sidewalk is another story. That's something,
That's new.
that's a DPW, have the DPW go down and look at it. Then you get into the issue of responsible party. You probably make an argument that the
Former sidewalk
person
people?
whose property that this sidewalk exists on is responsible for the repair. But let's see what it is.
Okay.
That's not always the case.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Can I have a motion to open the meeting up for public comment?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to make public comment, please come up to the podium, state your name and address, please.
Angelo Falo, 729 Jackson. I have a question that has been bugging me. I hesitate to have a question that I don't already know the answer to, but I have a feeling the answer is going to be better than I think. And it's been bugging me, there's a plant that is in our town, and I know it's like 40 years old, and I've been bugged at the Rotary meeting. There's a couple people who, one is an ex-mayor of Opacon, the other one is in a partnership with somebody, and they keep bringing it up to me. You probably know the one I'm talking about, West McGraw Station. Is that anything like what they're putting in Opacon? What is that?
We're talking about worn materials.
Oh,
Right.
Well, when you said no.
It's apples and oranges. It's an asphalt plant that's been there about 80 years. They do the asphalt.
Do they make asphalt?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
They do? 'Cause I never see
Back by the
much
mountain.
traffic
But
there.
the volume is,
It varies based upon need,
yeah.
but
But they don't do much.
it's,
They-
well, what's much?
So they're able to do everything, but they just don't do a lot, is that what it is?
It's not what's on their mind.
Primarily do driveways, right, Mike?
It's listed as worn materials.
Yeah, so it's owned by Haynes and Kibblehouse,
Yes.
who's a large contracting company based out of Pennsylvania. They bought it years ago when it was Warren Paving, from Fred Weiss. And they've owned it now for about 10 years, maybe? It's been a while, 10,
Yeah.
maybe more than 10
More
years.
than more, Fred's been going on.
But they do produce asphalt. There's been road jobs that we have been involved with where that's where the material comes from. Tilcon is the primary pavement producer in Warren County, and Tilcon is located in Oxford. That's a full-blown, pretty high production plant. I don't know the volume that Warren Materials puts out anymore.
Okay. Yeah, well, okay, I just wanted that answer.
I think the new owner actually made it a landscape place and makes it look very,
Yeah, I know it's, people can drive